It has been 12 years since the senseless acts of September 11, 2001. Faces on the diamond have changed. Faces in the crowd have aged. Yet they have remained loyal. Loyal to the game and more loyal to the country. Some stories will never be erased from our memory, but the strength that each of us drew from the heroes who knowingly and unknowingly risked their lives that day and the days since has increased and has helped remind us to continue to honor the pledge that we shall never forget. Moments ago, before the start of today's ball game, representatives from the Philadelphia Police and Fire Departments walked out, flags from each of the 50 states, each of the players from both teams out in front of the dugout as the national anthem was performed by senior airman Eric Anderson, as a stirring moment that made us remember what happened a dozen years ago in New York City, in Pennsylvania, and in Washington, D.C. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Chris Wheeler. Each of us, like everyone else who was aware of the events that happened in 2001, still have memories and still have lasting impressions of that day and the days that followed.
Yeah, and what baseball did, too, to really help everybody come back. You know, tomorrow night we'll go across the Potomac River in those buses, and you look at the Pentagon, you can't help but think about that day.
And the stirring announcement of each of the names of the people who perished at the World Trade Center, Pennsylvania, and the Pentagon that took place earlier today in New York. So as baseball healed 12 years ago, baseball once again will take center stage here tonight, and Cliff Lee will take the baseball for the Phils.
Yeah, he pitched a great game against them earlier this year, Tom, the San Diego Padres. It really looked like he was going to win the ball game. He breezed through 8 innings, and then in the 9th inning gave up a couple hits. Jonathan Papelbon came in and wasn't able to hold on. But this is what it looked like early in that game. It was so effortless that night. You thought, wow, this is really going to be an easy one for him. He had command of all his pitches, his fastball in and out, his changeup, his cutter, throwing a curveball once in a while, and it was a win in the bag for him. Wasn't to be that night. It was a no decision and a loss for the Phillies. Last time out against the Atlanta Braves on Friday night, Cliff Lee was just tremendous. His stuff was electric. He threw everything the way he wanted. Even got some help from the home plate umpire on a hook right there. Got a lot of strikeouts in the game. Really frustrated a good hitter like Freddie Freeman, swinging at a 3-2 changeup in the dirt. Through 27 starts, turning the tables. Look what happened last year and this year. His numbers are so similar. The big difference is the win-loss record. Phillies have been able to win some games for him when he comes out of the game, or they've been able to score a few more runs. But this guy, when you look at Cliff Lee, what you think of more than anything, Tom, I think is a very, very consistent starting Major League pitcher.
Absolutely. So he goes tonight on regular rest. Roy Halladay will pitch tomorrow with an extra day against the San Diego Padres. So it is Game 2 of this 3-game series. Eric Stultz will take the baseball for the San Diego Padres, making his 30th start of the season. Well, all around the country today, there have been reflections of what happened back in 2001. No one will ever forget not only what people did that day, but also what people did after that for days, weeks, months, and years to come. Phillies by Citizens Bank, where good banking is good citizenship. Isn't it time you experience good banking? And by Independence Blue Cross, the most preferred health plan in the region. Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, back here at Citizens Bank Park, the umpires have already exchanged the lineup cards for tonight's ball game. They're just awaiting the arrival of Cliff Lee and the rest of the Phillies to take the field. It is game 2 of a 3-game series. Last night it was all San Diego Padres. They won it rather easily over the Phillies, and with that victory, the Padres are now 66-77. Little different story tonight, though, with Cliff Lee going to the mound. As we said, it's normal rest for Cliff with the off day on Monday, so this was not a big deal that he flip-flopped with Roy Halladay, and he's looking to make his 28th start of the year and also to pick up his 13th victory of the season. Doc is ready to go tomorrow. He's got his strength back. He was doing some extra conditioning today, so he'll be ready to go for the finale of this 3-game series. He had I guess it was an upper respiratory infection that was bugging him that kept him away from the ballpark for a couple of days, so that's why they gave him an additional day, and that's why he'll wind up pitching tomorrow. So Cliff Lee says, let's go. And he leads his teammates out to the field for the start of tonight's ball game. Let's take a look at the Padres starting lineup for tonight. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Chris Denorfia leads it off in center field. Chase Headley, the third baseman, bats second. Jed Jerko, the second baseman, hits third, followed by Jesus Guzman. Kyle Blanks, the right fielder, bats fifth. Tommy Medica, the first baseman, hits sixth. And the bottom third of Cedeno, Hundley, and Eric Stoltz, and they'll face Phillies left-hander Cliff Lee, who comes into this ball game. We just ran down his stats a few moments ago with a 12-6 record, 178 strikeouts, and 191 2/3.
Here he goes, headed for 200 innings again. Ho hum. That's what Cliff Lee is. When season starts, you expect 200-plus innings from, like an old-time pitcher who you would go out there and say, well, 200 innings, no big deal. Career against San Diego, numbers are not great. He really hasn't pitched against them a whole lot. And the best game that he's pitched against it was that game that he pitched in San Diego this year, where we talked about in the opening. We really had that ball game won, and then they let it get away in the ninth inning. Phillies finally lost it in 10 after the Padres came back and got 3 in the ninth to tie it.
Well, you see the American flag on the side of Cliff Lee's hat. Each of the players and also the umpires have the American flag on their hats tonight in honor of what happened 12 years ago on September 11, 2001. This is day number 254 in the calendar. And of course, Major League Baseball, since those attacks happened, they try to do everything they can to honor those who gave their lives. 3,000 plus who lost their lives that day because of the terrorist attacks that took place in New York City, in Shanksville, and also in Washington, D.C. It's interesting that you can always feel this sort of calm and quiet during the course of the first inning or so of a game on this particular day.
Never forget that first night, and show those highlights over and over. I'm sure we'll see them again tonight, but that first night back after 9/11 when the Phillies played the Braves at the Vet, and it was so quiet for a while, and then an unbelievably good baseball game broke out. And people talked about it later. Same thing happened with the Mets when they played their game out there, and Piazza won it with a home run. That it kind of got people to think about something else for a while, and it really helped.
Well, the flags at half-mast, and here we go as Chris Denorfia will lead it off. Denorfia 1 for 5 in last night's ballgame. He batted second last night. Will Venable batted first. He has the night off. And the first pitch is ripped right at Cody Ashley. Denorfia took one step out of the batter's box. So one pitch, one set aside.
Well, it's time for our Nissan keys to tonight's game. Cliff Lee, boy, a lot of teams want to attack him early, as you saw right out of the chute there on a hot, humid night. We'll see if he can get his revenge for that game we've been talking about on 6/24 at San Diego. The Phillies only have one left-handed hitting regular in their lineup tonight, and that is Cody Ashley. Of course, Lee hits right-handed or left-handed, but Stoltz's numbers are very good against left-handed pitching, against left-handed hitters, so they decided to use a lot of right-handed hitters tonight.
Chase Headley last night had 3 hits. He also drove in a couple of runs. He's had a good month of September. In fact, he's really had a good month and a half. Swing and a miss, 0-2.
See Lee throw that cutter into right-handed hitters like that, and they swing and miss at it. That's always a good sign, because that's such an important pitch for him.
That's the thing he was doing his last time out. He was as good as we've seen his last time out against the Atlanta Braves. just off the outside corner. He thought that cutter came back enough.
Yeah, he wanted to get the outside corner call on that. This is one of those nights, too, you don't want to use a whole lot of pitches because you can wear down fast. It's pretty hot.
Yeah, this is like a July night here at Citizens Bank Park on September 11th. 1-2 pitch. Foul ball. It's going to be a little different tomorrow.
Yeah, evidently the front will come through at some point, hopefully before the game tomorrow night, and then by the weekend it's really going to be nice.
See the current conditions.
You don't expect 91 degrees at game time in September. That's very unusual, to say the least.
Dad and son getting a chance to enjoy a ball game here tonight. 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He got him with a changeup. It was a high changeup, but it got the job done. 2 away. And strikeout number 179 for Cliff Lee.
He threw a changeup the pitch before that, and Headley just got the head on it, fouled it off, and then Cliff comes back with another one. Not a strike, but got him to chase.
So he's way out in front. Here's Jed Jerko batting in the number 3 spot for the 13th straight game. Kid's had a productive power year, 17 homers and 45 RBIs. One ball and no strikes. Up high, 2 balls and no strikes. Jerko was 3 for 5 last night with a double and an RBI. Scored 3 runs. It's just a little high. It's 3-0. Jesus Guzman on deck for the Padres. Jerko is a rookie. He's out of West Virginia University. I mentioned yesterday that the last time the Phillies played the Padres, he was out with an injury. And that just missed ball 4. And Cliff Lee does not walk many batters, but that's a first inning walk. So a base runner for San Diego. Tonight's game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box. Ricky, Bill, and Angel are calling the game tonight. Guzman did not play last night.
And they were just talking about that Cliff Lee very rarely issues 4 pelotas. 4 pelotas to the same batter.
And a liner to left field. That's going to drop in front of Ruff. So it'll be a base hit. And that'll put runners on first and second.
Well, 2 guys swung the first pitch in this inning. One a line drive and one a dunker there. So all of a sudden a little trouble for this big right-handed hitter coming up in Blanks.
Yeah, Kyle Blanks had 2 hits in last night's game. He's also done well overall against the Phillies.
He's a BP show in this park.
Oh, he is, isn't he?
Oh, wow. He was hitting them long tonight. It was fun to watch.
5 of his 8 home runs this year have come against left-handed pitching.
And this is the type of night that it will fly in the air here tonight because it's so warm.
Well, he's just missing with some of these pitches. That changeup was just a little low. And it's 1-0. 0-2. Took a pretty good rip at that fastball.
He really has him set up for changeup away right now, or maybe backdoor cutter, although he's just been missing a little bit with those pitches. This guy has pretty good plate coverage, though, for a left-handed pitcher. Look at his arms are so long.
Yeah, 6'6" is Kyle Blanks. See where Ruiz sets up. He's going to go outside, and the pitch is hit right back toward the box. Lee is off the mound. Solid fielder. Just one error this year. No error there. No runs, 1 hit, and 2 men left. Took 17 pitches, but Lee got through the top of the first, and now it's on to the bottom of the first. It's brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Cesar Hernandez leads it off in center, followed by Jimmy Rollins and Kevin Franzen. Carlos Ruiz, the catcher, bats cleanup. Darren Ruff's in left field, he'll hit 5th. Cody Ashe bats 6th, followed by Freddie Galvis at second base. John Mayberry in right field. And Cliff Lee on the mound, of course, and they'll face left-hander Eric Stultz, the veteran, who is 8-13 this year and earned run average a little over 4.
4th major league team, too, Tom. The first time he's ever gone wire to wire with a major league team. He's always had years where he went back and forth. So as a result, he's up to 179 to third innings, which is a career high for him. A lot of hits. He'll have those kind of games. He's not an overpowering pitcher. He'll throw curve, slider, changeup. He'll throw one of those curveballs at 60-some miles per hour. He'll try to pitch inside a little bit and use his changeup away to right-handed batters. In the second half, not so good, and especially his last time out when he got hit around by the Giants.
Well, here's Cesar Hernandez, who did get one at bat last night. He shows bunt and takes a strike. He came on late. Ryan Sandberg gave Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley the last half of the game off. The Phillies were basically out of the ball game.
Stultz is one of those guys you got to have patience against him. You have to think about the other way as right-handed batters, because if not, you'll play pepper with a shortstop and third baseman all night. He's a kind of crafty left-hander that'll make you do that.
There's that changeup, and it's 1-2. Phillies first saw him when he was at the Los Angeles Dodgers. As Wheels mentioned, this is the 4th team he's played for. They picked him up during the course of last season. He got Hernandez on the same pitch on back-to-back pitches.
Real good changeup, and that's his money pitch if he can set it up with something. In this case, they figured they didn't even have to set it up because they had a young, aggressive hitter up there who was just swinging, and he just kept chasing that changeup. So why not keep throwing it?
So 1 away. Here's Jimmy Rollins. Rollins was hitless in last night's game. Phillies had an awful tough time with Andrew Kashner. And it's 0-1 to Rollins. Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Jamie Berman of Reading, PA. Phillies hit a home run in tonight's ball game. The Jamie will win $100. Rollins fights it off. It's 0-2.
There's a fastball he'll throw inside. He's not barely will get to 90 if he does. And he'll throw that inside just enough to get you off balance, throw change up away. And you always be a lookout for that big old flopped up curveball too.
just got a piece of that. He fouled it off Hundley, the catcher.
A little off balance against this guy. And that's the kind of pitcher he is. He tries to keep hitters off balance in a lot of ways.
Opposite way, and Rollins serves it into right field for a base hit.
That's the way to approach him if he can somehow do it. If he throws that changeup out there, right-handed hitter try to go the other way with it. Good job by Jimmy. Here's the changeup. Threw it inside a little bit to him. That's the same pitch he struck Hernandez out on, only down a little bit more.
Well, that'll bring Kevin Franzen to the plate.
Kid down there at first base in his first major league game. Jimmy's making him laugh about something.
Yeah, he's up from Double-A.
Saying, you see that, how a major league player smokes a ball to right field?
Here's Kevin Franzen. Franzen, 3-game hitting streak. He's 1 for 4 last night. And a curveball drops in. Wheels mentioned the Medica, who's up from Double-A. Bud Black decided to put him right into the lineup tonight. And Murphy's got a little bit of relationship going with Kevin Franzen from their hometown.
He does indeed, Tom. In fact, they went to the same high school. Kevin Franzen, very proud of the fact that many big league players have come out of his high school. Puts a nice swing on that ball, but a great catch out there in left field. But Franzen telling me today that that they all went to Bellarmine College Prep High School out there, as did Medica. And you know, if you look around, if you go back and look at Bellarmine High School and some of the ball players that they've sent to the big leagues, including Pat Burrell, who also played there, it really is an impressive list. So Kevin was quick to point out that we should keep our eyes on this young guy. And you know, he's a guy with a good approach at the plate, according to his manager, a guy that's got a little bit of pop, and they wanted to get him right in there and see what he could do. So it'll be fun to watch him.
Yeah, Kevin also said that he comes from a great family, which is a very nice compliment that you can throw at somebody. Currently, there are 3 players from Bellarmine who are in the big leagues, including Franzen and Medica. And Eric Thames, who is with the Houston Astros, is the 3rd.
That's right. And 3 other guys still in the minor leagues. Tom, playing down in the minor leagues, Double-A and Single-A.
It's a factory, Murph.
It really is. And to think that, you know, Pat Burrell came out of there as well. I went back and looked at the numbers, and Pat played the longest out of anybody, has the longest tenure, and probably the most successful career to date. But Kevin Franzen is gaining on him with 7 years in the big. So it really is impressive when you see a school that can put out that kind of talent on a consistent basis, going way back to the 1950s.
Well, it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Carlos Ruiz, and Rollins draws the throw over.
Had that high school in the San Francisco area that Sierra, I think it's called, produced Barry Bonds, Greg Jeffries, and the guy who says he was the best of all of them that come out of there, Jim Fregosi. Those 3 pretty good players out of one high school.
Not bad.
That's in the Bay Area.
How would you rank them, Wheels? 1 through 3. 1, 2, 3.
Think Jimmy's listening?
No, I don't think so.
He's 2.
Okay. I was thinking that too.
Well, if he is listening, I'd put him 1.
2 balls and 1 strike to Ruiz.
You know him pretty well, Murph. That's good.
And Carlos takes high, 3-1. Carlos did not play last night. He is 3 for 3, as you saw from the statistics against Stoltz. His average at 280 with 5 home runs. Ground ball back toward the middle. Cedeno to his left. A little flip to second. And that'll do it for the Phils here in the first. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. We've completed our first inning. And now we go to the second here at Citizens Bank Park. homestand. It'll be Roy Halladay against Tyson Ross. Game time is 7:05. You can purchase tickets right now for that ball game by going to Phillies.com 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or stop by the box office. They'd love to see you down there.
Tom went to the Cloud, and I was close. It was Serra, S-E-R-R-A High School, not Sierra. Serra High School.
Let me confirm that, because my eyes are going a little bit here.
Yeah, no, I think you're right though. That sounds closer.
Yeah, Serra in San Mateo.
Right.
Signed by the Red Sox, Jim Fregosi was in 1960. Red Sox, huh?
Yeah, but had a great career in California, of course, with the Angels.
How did he wind up with the Angels? Let's look and see. There's Medica will lead it off. Big swing. Big swing.
You mean you don't know?
Drafted by the Angels from the Red Sox as the 35th pick in the expansion draft.
There you go.
Tommy Medica went to Santa Clara before he was drafted by the Padres for college. He had 296 this year down in Double-A with 18 home runs, 20 home runs overall. Former catcher, who they've now converted to being a first baseman. Actually, he was converted that way in college. Swing and a miss, 1-2.
And he's the kind of hitter that a guy like Cliff Lee should be able to, well, I should be able to, but you can prey on these guys a little bit, kind of like the way Stoltz did on Cesar Hernandez, because they're going to be really aggressive and nervous their first time up, and Lee can really change speeds when he wants to. Sometimes Cliff will get a little fastball happy, and that's when he'll get hurt with home runs.
A 1-2 pitch. Fouled it back.
Like that. He'll throw a lot of fastballs and challenge up on the plate, and you saw the swing that a Double-A player just got at him. Now that's one of those ones where a veteran pitcher and a veteran catcher will see a swing like that, and they'll get off the fastball, throw something soft.
And a called strike 3. Tim Timmons took a little extra time to make that call.
He's thinking, well, I'm facing one of the great pitchers in the game, and this is my first major league at bat. I guess I'm going to get called out on a pitch I think's inside. And Lee gets one right there. But he should get those. So polite too.
Tommy Medica probably went past Ronnie Cedeno and said, "Hey, listen, you've been around a lot longer than I was, or that I've been. Can you say something to the home plate umpire about that last pitch?"
If I swing at that, the only thing I'm going to do is hurt somebody in my own dugout.
1 ball and no strikes to Cedeno. Cedeno has played in 12 straight. This is his 13th consecutive start. Darren Ruff has an eye on it and puts it away.
Don't have to worry about twilight now because it gets dark so fast.
Be the first with breaking news in Philly sports. Get Philly sports when you're on the go. Delivered right to your smartphone. Download the free CSN Sports app today.
Nice backdrop for pop-ups.
Here's Nick Hundley. Hundley did not play last night. 11 home runs this year, 40 runs batted in. Just off the outer edge, 2-0. Statistically, Lee came into this ball game 8th in the league in earned run average, 4th in innings pitched, and 6th in WHIP, which is walks and hits per innings pitched, which is a big statistic for any pitcher. To keep that as low as possible.
Yeah, that's base runners.
2-2 to Hundley. You just said that pitch was down. Now he can say that. He's been around a little bit.
And he's getting barked at a little bit from their dugout. Is Tim Timmons.
Mike Winters is at first, Laz Diaz at second, and Mark Wagner at third. Out towards center. It's pretty well hit. Playable though for Hernandez. And the side is retired. Cesar Hernandez tracked that one very comfortably. Side is retired in order. 4 in a row set down by Lee. We'll be back for the bottom of the second.
September 17, 2001. Crowd so respectful before the game. Never forget Bo that night. And the signs that were all over the place. And then an amazing game broke out. Scott Rowland had 2 home runs in this game off Greg Maddux. That was the second one that he hit down the line. That pretty much iced it. Jose Mesa had a real good job as a closer. Came in, got that breaking ball for the final out. You see Larry's reaction right there. And Scott Rowland, Ricky Jordan, all those guys were part of that team in 2001. And baseball really did help the country come back from that horrible experience.
Yeah, and if you take a look back at some of the highlights from that day and even the days after that in baseball, there were some unbelievable words that were presented by some tremendous announcers, from Harry to Jack Buck, who read a beautiful poem in St. Louis, to Vin Scully, who said some unbelievable things when the Dodgers got back to play. I watched all of them today. I thought each of them were fantastic. And Harry's was off the cuff, was brilliant. Jack Buck's was stirring. And, of course, Vin Scully was as smooth can be. It was just really neat to hear the prose from those pros.
Yeah. Well, Jack Buck was a World War II veteran. And very proud of his service. And it really came through when Jack made his remarks.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Darren Ruff as we begin the bottom of the second. Baseball postponed games until the 17th of September. It seemed like forever. And then that World Series, which featured the Diamondbacks and the Yankees, and even the American League playoffs that led up to the Yankees facing the Diamondbacks, where the Yankees were down 2-0 to the A's and came back and won that first round.
It's great stuff.
When Derek Jeter made that play, as Darren Ruff is down on strikes to get Jeremy Giambi, who was trying to score from first on a ball in the right field corner in Oakland, to the president's first pitch. That first game at Yankee Stadium, where he threw it off the mound while the cleanup was going on just a few miles away at the World Trade Center. Here's Cody Ashe, who was 1 for 3 last night with a home run. Phillies do not have a whole lot of lefties in the lineup tonight. It's Ashe and Cliff Lee.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's it. Because of the numbers that Stoltz has against left-handed hitters.
And that one's ripped on one hop at Medica. Ashe hits it right on the nose, and there are 2 outs.
He doesn't give much on. Now, this is not a left-hander you'd really give on anyway, because he doesn't throw very hard. But he still dominates left-handed hitters. Cody Ashe, he hangs in there.
retired for the second out. Here's Freddie Galvis over his last 7. He had a really nice series against the Braves. Freddie did.
Stoltz is throwing his changeup pretty well early in this game, and that's normally the key to him from what you hear about his outings when he pitches well.
Galvis loops that one into left for a hit. It's the second hit of the night for the Phils.
There's that 60-some mile-an-hour hook we were talking about. And that's the first one he's thrown. I don't know what, 68, 69. And that's what he does. He'll throw it in the high 60s normally, just kind of flops it up there. And normally hitters don't even swing at it. They say it's either a called strike or a ball.
Cliff Lee and Eric Stoltz certainly share a problem as we look at our Mazda leaders. Next to Dan Herron, they have the worst run support in the National League. Lee's kind of used to that, though, the last couple of years.
Yeah.
I think it's a credit to him that he's won as many games as he's won. John Mayberry had a base hit last night.
It's the first time Stoltz has pitched in this ballpark, and it's probably a good thing if he stayed in the clubhouse and didn't watch BP.
He was jumping pretty good.
Oh, like Wrigley Field on a windy day.
Well, he was doing some of the jumping. He had a couple balls that were pretty deep.
Yeah, I saw him. He was out there. I was thinking, why are you even out here? He has a home run this year.
1 ball and no strikes to Mayberry.
Obviously going to play Mayberry to pull off a soft tosser. See that huge hole in the right side. And that changeup like that, you keep swinging hard at it, you'll either swing and miss at it or hit weak ground balls of the third baseman or the shortstop. That's what he wants you to do.
Ball, 2 strikes.
He's having a lot of trouble with that pitch too, just kind of like Cesar Hernandez. You wonder, they'll just keep throwing it to him.
Maybe thought that Galvis was going to take off on that pitch. Now the Toyota Major League scoreboard. How about what the Pirates did to the Texas Rangers in Texas? They have swept out the Rangers.
Pretty impressive. They had to hang in there today. Texas started throwing their offense at them, and they had a lead in that game, and then it kept going back and forth.
A.J. Burnett wound up being the winner in that ball game for the Pirates. Mayberry takes outside, 2-2. Dirt, so Galvis will be off and running on this pitch. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Mayberry batting 8th. He has Cliff Lee on deck. Goes Galvis, and the pitch is grounded toward third. Waiting on it is Headley, and he throws across the diamond just in time to get Mayberry, and the side is retired. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. Now through 2, Cliff Lee will get ready to go back to work. comments section for all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, Wills, here's the question. What Padre holds the single-season club record for pinch hits with 21? You got an idea on that one? Downtown Ollie Brown?
No, not going to go with OB tonight.
Answer will be revealed in the 7th inning. Bottom of the 3rd, it'll be Stoltz, Denorfia, and Chase Hetley, 9-1 and 2. You thinking that there's somebody you're missing?
I'm thinking he may have a Phillies connection.
You do think that?
Is it possible?
I'll be honest with you, I have not seen the answer. What? I read the question off the screen.
All right.
But I think I know the answer. I did not see it, but I think I know it.
Well, good. Then you can answer it.
Later on.
One a year. Feel free.
Stoltz hitting 170 this year with a home run and 3 RBIs, 9 for 53. And it's 1 ball and no strikes to him. Guy on the left is a pretty good hitting pitcher. Guy on the right is a pretty good hitting pitcher.
Yeah, both left-handed hitters. Both have hit home runs in their career. Both are veteran guys. It is amazing, though. This is Stoltz's first wire-to-wire year in a big league uniform.
Because of injury and because of transporting back and forth between the majors and the minors.
Right.
Just outside 2-1. Well, unlike Cliff Lee, Eric Stoltz was a position player at one time when he was in college.
Well, he had to be a first baseman or an outfielder.
I believe you are correct. I think he was an outfielder.
If he's a left-handed thrower, every once in a while you'll hear somebody else. Somebody will play one of the other positions that left-handers don't play, but it's rare.
Pulls that one to second on 1 hop for Galvis. And there's 1 away. Stoltz was not a runner when he was in college.
Not on a hot night. He's used to pitching in San Diego, where it's almost always perfect. Phillies will be there in September next year.
So 1 quick out. Here's Denorfia. Speaking of quick outs, he was retired on 1 pitch. His first time up, he had a liner over to 3rd. Denorfia is making his 35th appearance as the leadoff hitter for the San Diego Padres. As the leadoff hitter, he's a 301. He has a 301 average, but more importantly, has a 359 on base percentage. Now the 0-1 pitch from Lee. And Freddie Galvis getting busy in this inning. 2 outs. This Monday coming up, it'll be the final Hatfield Dollar Dog Night at Citizens Bank Park. It's the start of a 3-game series against the Miami Marlins. All 3 games are scheduled to begin at 7:05. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com.
They're shutting Jose Fernandez down after tonight's game.
Yes, so the Phillies will not see him not only this week or next week, but also when they go back to Miami.
Right. They saw a lot.
Road trip.
They saw a lot of him early, and we were going places. People say, "What's he like?" Oh, just wait. He's good.
Well, I think it's going to come down to Fernandez and Puig for the Rookie of the Year. No offense to Jerko, who's in the on-deck circle. I think anyway. I could be wrong.
No, that sounds right.
Just Puig a bit low. It's 1-1.
Puig has really cooled off, and Fernandez has gotten better and better as the season went along. But sometimes that position player with all the publicity.
And his team is cruising to the west,
right,
and people think it's his doing, or he's done a lot to help them with that.
He did a lot to turn it around. There's no doubt about it. When he went there, the energy level changed on their team, and some other things happened with them too. And now that he's cooled off, they just kept it going. He's also had some base running problems and some other things that are setting him back a little bit.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Chase Hetley. Struck out his first time up. First curveball of the night. It's outside 2-2. Well, according to some reports, Fernandez making his last start as Wheels set against the Braves tonight in his first at bat of the ball game, and they're in the third now, and Miami's up 1-0. He walked up to home plate and shook Brian McCann's hand, as if to say, "Hey, listen, I'll see you later on."
Yeah.
And good luck in the postseason.
Right.
Popped him up. Shallow left. Rollins is there.
Been nice playing against you. McCann said, wanted to say, no, it isn't.
1, 2, 3 go the Padres. 7 in a row. Retired by Cliff Lee. We've played 2.5. All smiles on Jimmy Rollins. Clearance event is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by Citizens Bank, where good banking is good citizenship. Is it a time you experience good banking? Last of the third, Phillies and the Padres scoreless. 9-1-2 for the Phillies, just as it was 9-1-2 for the Padres. Cliff Lee, who this year is hitting 140 with 2 runs batted in. He has 2 career home runs. What do you think he can do against a lefty like Stoltz? You think he can? He's a good lefty for him?
Not if he pitches him away. If he makes a mistake middle into him, yeah. As he pulls off like most pitchers.
Fly ball left center field. And DeNorfie is under it. 1 pitch, 1 away here in the third. Tomorrow on Philly Sports Talk, Eagles insiders Reuben Frank and Dave Spadaro will look ahead at the Birds home opener. We'll also talk to CSN Bay Area's Ray Ratto, who saw firsthand how Stanford slowed down the Oregon Ducks last season. All that and much more tomorrow at 5 Eastern. Ray is a columnist for the San Francisco Chronicle. And the interesting thing about that topic is, I think all around the NFL, folks after the Eagles' performance in Game 1 are wondering, well, which defensive coordinator will be the first to try to slow the game down, and can they? I don't know. A lot of football to be played, but Game 1 was rather entertaining. 1 ball, 1 strike to Hernandez, who struck out his first time, and it's 1-2.
He finally threw him a fastball after all those changeups his first time up, and you can see how late he was that time. That's what a pitcher like this will do with a young hitter, is just keep trying to keep him off balance. Now they're going to come inside to him. And you think, what, oh, does he actually pitch inside? Stoltz is good tonight. And this is one of those nights you can see that he has it where he wants to throw it right now, and it's going to be a matter of whether they're patient enough to do anything with it. They have to give in a little. keep doing that, that'll be a lot of strikeouts and a lot of ground balls.
Well, that's 3 strikeouts for Stultz.
That changeup's driving him nuts. Here's another one. See him tuck that thing back in his hand. I love those center field shots when you see a changeup in a guy's hand like that. And you see the way they put the fingers on top of it, choke it, and then just throw it as hard as they can. It must be so much fun to be able to throw a pitch like that.
You know, when you started saying it must be so much fun, I thought you were going to talk about the Fanatic.
I don't know if it's that much fun for those folks tonight.
Rollins pops it up over toward the Phillies dugout. That'll be out of play.
But he's certainly going to have a lot of fun every day. Mark Grant off to our right, fine broadcaster, next major league pitcher for the Padres, knows better now than to diss him because he got silly stringed last night.
What did he say about it?
He said Mr. Met's better. I don't blame him for silly stringing.
Seriously.
I said to Mud, what are you thinking?
You know why he said that? Because Mark's head is kind of like Mr. Met, so that's why.
He's a silly person.
He is. He's funny.
Great guy. And stick Enberg beside him, who's a very, very famous broadcaster. Jimmy got a little bit out front of that one. Here's last night. Look at Mud. He just sits there, too.
Took his medicine.
That guy's funny.
Up high, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Pitched for Larry Bowe, and he's with the Padres. And Bowe used to say to him, Mud, why don't you just pitch and the other 4 days go home? Don't bother us.
He was talking about how he made the same transition Ethan Martin's making right now, at least for the end of this season, as a starting pitcher who then became a sort of middle reliever, then a setup man for Mark Davis.
He had a good arm. Mark Grant had a really, really good arm. And, you know, he's one of those guys that probably looks back in his career and thinks, well, maybe I should have taken it a little more serious. But he's having fun now.
Here's the 1-2 to Rollins. And Jimmy floats it out towards center. It's going to hang up there for Denorfia. And an easy inning for Stultz. So he retires the Phils in order. We've played our first 3. We go to the 4th. Fanatic just getting started. Mason delivers their fastball right down the middle 100% of the time. Order by 11:30 and you receive your delivery same day guaranteed. Who but WB Mason. 3 in the books. We go to the top of the 4th with Lee warming up out on the mound, getting set to face Jed Jerko, Jesus Guzman, and Kyle Blanks for the San Diego Padres. Padres have 1 hit and the Phillies have 2 hits so far for the first 3 innings. Sarge, Cliff Lee looks like he's picked up right where he left off with his 8 innings last time.
Yeah, that little dirt there where he uses those 2 fingers. There you go. Right there. That just kind of gets wipes a little rosin, I would imagine, off of his fingers.
Well, he does not change his hat from start to start. Some guys do. He does not. Jerko swings at the first pitch. And it's no balls and 1 strike. Nice catch by a fan in the Hall of Fame club. In fact, it was a couple months ago when former player Dirk Hayhurst talked about Lee maybe using a substance to help his cause on the mound, and Lee laughed. He said, "You can come look at the hat if you want." He goes, "I've worn the same hat the entire year." He goes, "It's just worn down." He goes, "It's rosin, it's sweat, it's all kinds of stuff."
Yeah, I'm just wondering why you would say it if you don't have any proof.
Right.
Unless you really know that.
Swing and a miss. He got him with a cutter. Strikeout number 3. Jesus Guzman's coming up, and Murph, we've had our first change of the bases so far tonight.
Yeah, a little bit earlier tonight, and doing it in honor of the 9/11 tribute that's happening all night here at Citizens Bank Park, and really a moving scene, a standing ovation for 3 men who came out to change the bases, including a New York police department policeman who is retired now, but lost 2 members of his precinct during 9/11. At second base, there was a member of the Philadelphia Police Department, and then the Philadelphia Fire Department represented at first base as well. These kind of things happening all night long. You guys talked about the commemorative hats. They have the commemorative bases as well, and lineup cards also to commemorate 9/11 tonight. And the reaction, guys, from the Philadelphia fans, of course, as usual, just terrific. Everybody on their feet and showing their appreciation for the men out there today. And even a member of the K-9 unit was out at second base as well. The OG was the dog's name. So just really a special night. The flags at half-mast, as you guys mentioned as well, as a baseball game continues, but everyone in the back of their mind remembering the events of 12 years ago.
Yeah, the first base representative was Battalion Chief Charles Klink from the Philadelphia Fire Department, and at second base was Police Officer Paul Bryant Jr. Both of those guys were first responders up at the World Trade Center. So many people went so many miles to come and help out. Folks from the Midwest, folks from the West Coast, and of course folks from here in Philadelphia. And over at third base was Sean Martin, who was from the 6th precinct in New York City. He's now retired, as Murph said. And it was a pretty nice moment, as you would expect. No balls and 2 strikes to Jesus Guzman. Singled his first time up. And a called strike 3. That was just a fastball right on the inside part of the plate. And there are 2 outs.
Yeah, these guys don't like any pitches inside. Have a habit of just jumping back, even though they are strikes. Never seen anything like it, as if they want the umpire to call that a ball. There it is again, and you can see the glove is not moved whatsoever.
Kyle Blank's ground one back to the mound his first time up. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Well, that's obviously Sarge when Cliff Lee is at his best, when he's able to put it wherever he wants it to. Wherever he wants it to go.
Yeah, he's got the cutter that he throws in on the hands, and he has that slider that he can throw. That's as good as it gets. Little change up as he fades that ball away. And you get you looking out there, then he comes inside and can jam you. Outside fastball right there. That's what you're talking about, being able to hit his spots. You know, some pitchers can get that outside target and throw the ball inside, which does no setup at all in getting the hitter out. It's another one of those hitters in blanks that have the 2 strikes on him. You can get out of the zone on him. Fastball away or fastball up. He'll have a tendency to swing at those.
Ball, 2 strikes. Got him with a changeup. Struck out the side. 1, 2, 3 go the Padres. 5 strikeouts in all for Cliff Lee. I'll tell you what, in this particular inning, He threw every pitch he has and threw it perfectly. Here's Jerko, who he gets with a cutter. That's strikeout number 1. And then the fastball on the inside half by Guzman. Then finally, another changeup. This one toward the outer half to get blanks. Stores. Go further. Buy WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. And buy Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer today. Bottom of the 4th inning. No score. It'll be Kevin Franzen, Carlos Ruiz, and Darren Ruff. Franzen lined out to left his first time up. Hit the ball sharply. And the first pitch to him. Take it outside. 1 ball and no strikes. We were talking before about Kevin Franzen's relationship with the Padres first baseman, Tommy Medica. I had said Medica, and I apologize. It's Medica. That pitch is outside, 2-0. Sarge, for the rest of his life, though, will know his proper pronunciation.
Yep.
That one's hit sharply towards short. Nice play by Cedeno, and he flips from his heels in time. Wow. And there's one away.
Well, you're right about that. Super play by Cedeno. He's always been really a pretty good fielder. Again, the ability just has not come out of him as he ends up making a great play there. Gathers himself, throws the ball. Ball knows it's going to spin back a little bit. Taking away a hit. Here it is again. Most important thing, obviously, to catch it. And he just bounces it as he gets it over to first base.
Well, Franzen has hit the ball hard one time and was robbed of a hit, and hits that one there and robbed by a nice play from Cedeno. Carlos Ruiz takes a curved ball. It's 0-1.
I think the closer you are to the plate, the better you are. And I say that because his bread and butter is on the outside part of the plate. You want to take away the pitcher's strength, work to your strength. When you move a little bit closer to the plate, there's nowhere to go. You can't throw the ball by you. That's why, again, don't understand why so many guys are so deep in the box.
Now, Carlos was close to the plate, but he was back where he normally stands in the box.
You know, and again, being a hitting coach, when the guys that I had, we would make adjustments. We'd make adjustments during the course of the at-bat. Okay? Back in the day with Sandberg, we'd do the same thing. They'd have a game plan where a left-handed pitcher that throws soft, we want to hit everything to the right side of second base. The guys of today, hardly, and none of the guys want to do any of adjusting during the game. They feel more comfortable with where they're standing, like Darren Ruff. When you're standing right there, you're wanting that pitcher to make a mistake, like that pitch there. If he's closer to the plate, he can blast that pitch and hit it hard somewhere, not reaching. Remember, you got to have good balance. And if he gets you reaching, he's done his job, the pitcher.
1 ball and 1 strike. They're going to try to come inside, and Ruff rips it on one hop and sprawling play by Chase Headley. And it's a 1, 2, 3, 4th inning. So some solid defense in this inning for the Padres, certainly helping Eric Stultz get through the 4th. He's retired 7 in a row. Headley says to Ronnie Cedeno, you go to your left, I'll go to my right. We'll get the job done. Far. Let's take a look at our Coors Light Cold Hard Fact of the Game, brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. All right, Sarge, so the Phillies have been successful against the Padres since 2004 when Citizens Bank Park at Petco opened. Phils are 44-20 against the Padres in the 19 series. The Phillies have won 13 of them and have swept the Padres 6 times. Sometimes you just have a team's number.
Yep.
Here's Medica, who leads it off, and he takes a little low, 1 ball and no strikes. Medica struck out looking his first time up. Fly ball, deep left center field. Hernandez going back at the wall. It is gone. His first major league hit is a solo home run, and the Padres take a 1-0 lead. Oh, he's certainly going to remember that.
No doubt about it.
Coming against Cliff Lee here in Philadelphia. After 20 minor league home runs, he has his first in just his second at-bat.
Wow. Right away to get your first hit, and that ball there, he hit a long way. Yeah, it was up high. Kept carrying and carrying. Take a look at it as he gets his fastball, gets all on top of it. He's got an eye on it, even though he's running pretty hard. Oh, boy.
That's a good thing we got the pronunciation of his last name right.
Yeah.
Kevin Franzen gave us the scouting report, said he was a heck of a player. It's 1 ball and 1 strike now to Ronnie Cedeno. So it's 1-0 San Diego here in the top of the 5th. Last night we had Cameron Rupp get his first major league hit. That was an infield single. And tonight we have Tommy Medica, who has his first major league hit, a towering home run.
Yeah, I think he liked trotting around the bases a little better than maybe tumbling over the base.
And a called strike 3, 6 strikeouts for Lee. Well, Well, Cam was in great spirits about his base hit. As Cedeno's barking a little bit. He was comparing it to Cody Ashe's first major league hit because Ashe did the same thing.
Yeah.
He said, "Hey, listen, mine went farther."
You know, and a hit is a hit. I mean, you feel just as elated as if it was a line drive. You just want to get that first hit out of the way, period.
Swing and a miss. Well, Medica joins a list of now 115 major leaguers to pick up a home run with his first major league hit. It's pretty nice.
Oh boy, I mean, you dream of it.
Fly ball to shallow left. Hernandez and Darren Ruff. It's Ruff who gives way to Hernandez. 2 outs.
Hernandez has the call. Hey, there's not a kid or a hitter that comes to the major leagues and don't think or feel that they want to hit that first ball out of the ballpark. I mean, that is just the dream that you've had since you were in Little League, getting your chance to play in the major leagues, getting congratulations there from his teammates. And then to boot, to do it off of one of the better pitchers in the game today makes you feel that much better.
Mm-hmm. Off the hands, Ashe gives it a look, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. Lee has given up his share of home runs this year. Many of them have been solo home runs.
Yeah. Well, he's going to be around the plate, obviously. It's a pretty good pitch. The way he's been calling those. High fastball. Cliff's been getting those pitches. But you know, Cliff's going to be around the plate. He comes at you with the fastball, so as a hitter, you're ready and geared to go and once you get in the batter's box.
Fly ball short left. Rollins sprints over and then retires the side here in the 5th inning. But the Padres pick up their first run. Tommy Medica's first major league hit. It comes against Cliff Lee. It was a cutter that came back over the inner half of the plate, and it goes out. The 2013 season in HD quality. Watch every out-of-market game live on more than 350 mobile and connected devices. Visit MLB.tv today. She sees Bernie out there in center field, and she said, "Look, look." Bernie sometimes gets that reaction, kind of like the Fanatic. Same kind of reaction.
Start the fans off early and being a Phillies fan.
Well, here's Cody Asche, who will lead it off here in the 5th. Tommy Medica has given the Padres a 1-0 lead with his solo home run. So Eric Stultz will face Asche, Galvis, and John Mayberry. Asche and friends that have probably had the best swings against Stultz so far.
No, they need good swings from top to bottom, good at bats, tough at bats.
A 1-2 now to Asche. He grounded out sharply to Medica his first time up.
This guy mixes them up. I mean, you just got to make sure, again, that swing at your pitch. It's a good pitch for the pitcher, that is.
Yeah, 4 strikeouts now for Stultz. And Freddie Galvis is coming up.
Oh, there's a breaking ball there. And that's a tough pitch there for the lefty to stay off of. But the one thing we've talked about, that balance, you got to have it if you're going to even foul that pitch off. Well, the guys that aren't overpowering, you want to take away their strength, and it's its off-speed pitches.
Galvis takes, and it's 0-1. Nick Hundley just reminded the first baseman Medica that, you know, be leery of a bunt, a push bunt toward the right side from Galvis.
Better suited if you make him get the ball up. The way he's been pitching, any ball that's been down, it keeps going down.
One ball, 2 strikes. Galvis singled on a breaking pitch his first time up. Not sure if he'll see a breaking pitch in this at bat. Changeup.
He made sure it was down. He made sure it was away. So when you move closer, almost having your hands over the plate, you force him to throw the ball in, and usually it'll be in off the plate, and he still will go away.
Swinging bunt, dribbling up the third base line, and it rolls foul. So Hundley did the right thing there. For years, StubHub has been the place to find great Phillies tickets, and this season you can get more with your tickets thanks to StubHub Fan Rewards. So get to StubHub and grab your seats today. So Galvis comes back. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
This kind of pitcher can frustrate you because he doesn't throw hard.
Yeah, that's probably the top fastball at 89 miles an hour, but he doesn't throw it as often as the other pitches, of course. There's Mayberry on deck. Ground ball foul past Samuel. And the count remains full 3-2.
Well, you could hear Pete Rose up near the batting circle telling the pitcher to throw the ball harder. Pete, one of those guys, the harder you threw the ball, the better he thought he would feel.
That ball is ripped deep down the left field line. Hooking, it is gone! Solo home run for Freddie Galvis, and he's just tied this baby up in one apiece. here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Well, waited him out, got that ball up in the zone, put a good swing on it, and drove it out to left field. Ball was actually gone once it left his bat, by the way. He drives that ball out of there. That's not going to frustrate you. That'll make you feel pretty good. Take a look at it. High fastball right down the middle. Look at his eyes. Oh, boy. He knew it was gone. And that's the sound that you want to hear.
That's 6 home runs now for Galvis. He makes a winner out of Jamie Berman of Reading, PA, in our McDonald's home run jackpot. Jamie's won $100. That one's out toward left center. Playable, though, for Denorfia. There are 2 outs. And Cliff Lee is coming to the plate. Well, makes you feel a little bit better that you're all square?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, again, though, they should be having, I think, better swings against him. Not just Freddie, but just everybody. You know, he's not throwing the ball extremely hard. Therefore, there shouldn't be any kind of fear factor. And even if he was from the right side, this should be pretty good pickings for you.
Well, it's 1 ball and no strikes to Lee.
Well, doesn't have an exceptional pitch that he can trick you, I should say.
Sprays that one down the left field line, out of play. Cliff flied out to center last time against Stultz. And a foul ball. Dribbler to the right of the mound. Stultz off the hill, bare hands. Side is retired. But Freddie Galvis' 6th home run of the year has pulled the Phillies even. Well, he really got out front of that one. He ripped it deep down the left field line. We go to the 6th, all even at 1. We have become accustomed to in the Phillies catcher over the years. Carlos Ruiz got off to a very slow start with the bat this season following his suspension. The man behind the plate has since turned things around at the plate, batting well above 300 since the beginning of August. His offense has returned, and he is delivering with power and extra base hits. Chooch's production is a welcome addition to the Phils lineup. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, Carlos's offense certainly has been a welcome addition. You know what else has been a welcome addition, even though he's not hitting for average, is Freddie Galvis, who has 6 home runs now. It's such a strange season where he spent a lot of time down in AAA. He's got more home runs than some of the regulars.
Yeah, he does. And catching up. Freddie brings a lot of energy to this ball club. One of the things that Ryan Sandberg, new manager, really likes. But just right now, trying to find a position where he's going to actually play. I mean, next year you're going to have, you would think, Jimmy Rollins back there at shortstop. So what happens is that guys like Freddie, guys like Hernandez aren't able to grow the way you would like for them to grow. Same thing happened to Doug DeCences, one of my friends who played with the Baltimore Orioles. Well, at the time, you had Brooks Robinson there. So it cost them almost another 2 years to stay in the minor leagues until Brooks decided he wanted to retire.
And Doug went from the Orioles over to the Angels. Had a good career with the Angels, too. I guess Ryan Sandberg, to a certain extent, was that way here with the Phillies. He wound up going to the Cubs. That's when he got a chance to play.
Yeah. I think Larry Boyle reminds him, too, that he was the throw-in.
Chris D'Onofrio will lead things off for the Padres. He's 0 for 2. He's lined out and he's grounded out. 1-1 game here at the top of the 6th. Pitch is low, 1-0. Well, folks ask all the time about your name, your nickname, Sarge, where you got it from, and I always tell them that Pete Rose gave it to you.
Yeah.
Which is a great story all by itself, because until you came to Philadelphia, you weren't known as the Sarge. Ryan Sandberg, for some reason today, Murph, started talking about where he got his first name from, which I thought was kind of interesting.
It was very interesting, Tom. Yeah, you know, I had never heard this story, and then some of the reporters were asking him about it, and he said that he was named after Ryan Durham, who was a pitcher, Major League Baseball pitcher in, I guess, in about the 50s and 60s. And he said his mom and dad weren't big baseball fans, but they named his brother Dell after Del Ennis as well. So they had Ryan and Dell. And he told a funny story. He said that when he was first coming up as a Philly farmhand, he got a chance to go to the Carpenter Complex, and he actually met Ryan Durham, and he told him, hey, I'm named after you. And Ryan was, obviously flattered by that. Ryan Durham was. And then he said that many, many years later, after Ryan Sandberg had his terrific Hall of Fame career, he ran into Ryan Durham, and Ryan Durham came up to him and said, hey, I don't know if you remember me, but I'm Ryan Durham, and you were kind of named after me. So the tables were turned on it many, many years later. But, yeah, interesting stuff, talking about his name and his nickname Rhino as well.
Well, it's interesting, too. Different nicknames the different players get. The only ones that you really don't really like are the ones that when the players name themselves or give themselves their own nickname.
Well, didn't Deion Sanders give himself the name Primetime?
Yeah. Well, tell you, boy, that Doc and I were selling a lot of number 34. Okay?
just add your name on the back, whatever you want. Halliday, Matthews.
Oh, man.
Well, Ryan Doran, who Murph's talking about, played for the Phillies in 63, 64, and also parts of 64, and then part of 65 too. They say that he is the inspiration for the Wild Thing in the movie Major League.
Wow.
Yeah. David Ward, who is the writer for that particular film, which was a book, I believe, has said that before. He could throw. I never saw him, but what I understand, he could throw. Well, there you have it, Sarge. We've answered some questions because Rhino's name is, some people want to say Ryan, but it's not. But it's spelled R-Y-N-E, which is a little different.
Yeah, well, I've been calling him that nickname for so long.
What, Rhino?
Yeah.
Where did he get the nickname Rhino from, Murph?
He said he got that when he was in Chicago. I do forget.
Harry Carey, didn't he?
Harry Carey, that's
right.
Yeah, he said Harry Carey started calling him Rhino. He said when he was with the Phillies, everyone called him Sandy. That was the nickname for Sandberg. He was Sandy in the Phillies organization. But yeah, once he went to Chicago and met Harry Carey, he got Rhino, and it sticks. He said he loves it. He thinks it's kind of nickname he likes.
Well, Jerko rips one deep to left, and the two rookies for the Padres have two solo home runs, and the Padres are back on top, and it's 2-1. That's his 18th home run of the year, and he's had some really good swings in the 2 days the Padres have been here in Philadelphia.
Well, he showed a little bit of power. You get the ball middle in, he knows exactly what to do with it. Always tell by the sound that was a line drive as it gets out of here. Take a look at it. You can see that location almost right down the middle. This time of the year, very seldom a hitter's going to miss that pitch.
Foul ball, it's 0-1. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
You know, the one pitch that you will get from Cliff Lee will be a fastball, sometimes in the sequence. And he's a pitcher that is around the plate, doesn't like to walk anybody, comes right at you, and sometimes he'll make that mistake. I think he wanted that particular pitch in a little bit further inside as opposed to catching some plate.
Out toward right center, playable for Mayberry. He'll settle under it. And for the second straight inning, a solo home run has given the Padres a 1-run lead as we go to the middle of the 6th. Innovative lineup ever. ShopChooseNissan.com. By Thomas Jefferson University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF now for an appointment. And by Chevrolet. Visit your local dealer at ChevyDealer.com. Oh, warm night here in Philadelphia on the 12th anniversary of the attacks on the World Trade Center in Pennsylvania and the Pentagon, September 11th.
Yep.
2 youngsters who probably have some memories of what happened on September 11th. Jed Jerko and Tommy Medica have hit solo home runs to give the Padres the lead. I still watch the reading of the names this morning, and it's just even to see how things have changed at the site of the World Trade Center. The Freedom Tower is just about complete, 104 floors in all its beauty. It's now called One World Trade Center, and just the memorial that's evolved and how beautiful that is. It won't replace any of the souls who perished on that day.
Right.
Boy, it's still stirring to sit and listen to all the names that are read from family members who lost loved ones.
Yeah, it really is. I think everybody remembers exactly where they were at that particular time.
2-1 to Hernandez. And It's 2-2. You were at the Blue Jays at the time, weren't you?
At the Blue Jays. We were in Baltimore at the time, and my middle son, Delvin, had called, and that's when I was looking at the news for the rest of the day.
Well, Hernandez is down on strikes for the third time. Phillies were on the road at the time of the attacks and had to bus, like a lot of other teams. They had to bus.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we ended up busing back Baltimore to Toronto.
Again, baseball came back on the 17th of September. But Seoig said it was time to play games. The president said it was time to play games. It led to an amazing postseason, as we said before.
Yeah.
1 ball, 1 strike to Rollins. 1 for 2. And it's 2-1.
Even J-Rowe, who stands close to the plate, still kind of reaching for the outside part of the plate there. A little bit off balance. Needs to keep his balance.
That ball's hit well. Deep to left field. Going back on it is Guzman. It is gone! Jimmy Rollins with home run number 199. It took a while, but he's just tied this ball game up at 2 apiece.
I tell you, if you can just force this guy to make sure that he throws the ball inside, Eric will give you a pitch to hit, but you got to take away the outside. That's a mistake as he throws that ball out over the plate. He flipped the bat right away, knew the ball was out.
It's his first home run since the second day back from the All-Star break.
He probably was thinking he didn't have the power to hit him out anymore.
In fact, it's his 6th home run. So Rollins has hit his 6th tonight, and Galvis has hit his 6th tonight. Franzen hits one through the hole on the left side, a base hit, a 1-out single. And that'll bring Ruiz to the plate. That home run that Rollins hit and the one that Galvis hit earlier. And for each one hit by a Phillies player this season, 1 tree will be planted by the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society as part of Home Runs for Trees, a partnership between the Phillies, PHS, and Aramark. Home Runs for Trees is part of Plant 1 Million, a project to restore the region's tree coverage. For more information, visit phillies.com/red goes green. There's Carlos, who takes a strike, 0-1. Padres do have bullpen action. Stoltz is at 81 pitches.
Start getting the ball up. Guys are having a lot better swings, and that really should be your game plan. Make him get it up. He's more effective when the ball is down. This is one of those pitchers that you don't mind swinging at it a little bit up out of the zone. You can catch up to it, as opposed to somebody throwing the ball, say around maybe 93, 94. Hard to get on top of that one. That ball too, Jimmy Rollins hit more of the line drive type as opposed to really popping them up. A lot of times, if you're not really thinking about trying to hit the ball out, you get it on the line and it will go out, especially in this ballpark, made for line drive hitters.
Well, that was as good a swing as we've seen from J-Roll in a while. He was right on it.
Yep. Well, you can tell the way that he hit it in left center there. And again, those are the kind that when you hit them, you know they're out of the ballpark. J-Roll gave it a little slight look and started trotting around the bases.
Carlos hits it out towards center. DeMurphy on the run, and he's able to track it down. And back to first goes Franzen. They'll bring Darren Ruff to the plate. Phillies will wrap up their home schedule here at Citizens Bank Park with a series against the New York Mets Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. On Saturday, the 21st, a German Heritage celebration here at Citizens Bank Park. And then on Sunday, the 22nd, Fan Appreciation Day. All fans will receive the 2014 Phillies schedule magnet. Compliments of Independence Blue Cross. Tickets are available at Phillies.com. Kevin Franzen was getting a little length off the first base bag there for a moment. Darren Ruff takes low.
It's another one of the guys. All the right-handers should have really good swings, good at bats, especially against any of the left-handers. And the ones that don't throw hard should be even easier for you, because now what you're doing is picking up that spin. Not really so much even worried about the fastball, because it's just not a fastball that's going to be able to jam you time in and out.
That ball's drilled to left field. It's going to stay in the yard. It's a one-hop off the base of the wall. Well, you can see why they've got somebody up and warming in the pen. They may think that his magic is coming to an end. A double for Ruff, his 9th of the year. And there are 2 on with 2 outs for Cody Ashley.
I tell you, that ball was just scalded as he hits that ball down the line, pulls it, getting the ball up a little bit. You'll have some success. If he gets it up, it's out of the ballpark, no doubt about it. Hit the ball so hard. Had a little hook on it.
Ashley had a good at bat his first time up, then struck out his last time. As you see the pitches by inning for Stoltz. Wheels mentioned before, it's kind of uncharted waters for him because of the number of innings he's thrown this year. Fly ball center field, and that'll do it as long as Denorfia can make the catch here in the 6th inning. Phillies do get a run to tie it up, and a solo home run by Jimmy Rollins. They leave a couple in scoring position. We go to the 7th, tied at 2.
Well, on this night, as we pause to remember what happened back on this date in 2001, we have a real good ball game. Just like the first night the Phils came back. There are the home runs tonight by Medica and Jerko. Solo home runs. That's all been hit here tonight. Mentioned how the ball was flying out of here in batting practice. You expected to see some homers. 4 home runs, all solos. Both guys have pitched well except for the solo homers.
Well, Kyle Blank starts it off for the Padres here in the top of the 7th.
It's your local Honda dealer's game summary.
Blanks is 0 for 2. He's grounded out and he's struck out tonight.
Cliff Lee just gets hurt with fastballs and cutters to right-handed hitters. We mentioned that earlier in the ballgame for homers because he just doesn't give in with a lot of soft stuff. One left-handed hitter a home run off him this year, and that was Jay Bruce on May 17th here. That's it. All the other homers are all by right-handed hitters.
Jay Bruce has 10 home runs against left-handers this year.
And he's 2 off Kershaw. In one game. Yeah, you believe that? That's almost impossible. And he's leading the league in strikeouts too, as Bruce. So that's a strange year.
Curveball hit toward third, taking on a few hops. 1 away. These lucky fans are tonight's Citizens 7. They will receive a prize pack compliments of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. So now Tommy Medica, 12th Padre to hit a home run as his first major league hit. Said he was the 115th major league history.
Phillies have a few not that long ago. Chase Utley, Marlon Anderson. Ricky Jordan.
Shallow right. 2 outs.
He crushes this too. There's a cutter or a fastball out over the plate, and he just generating a fastball right down the middle, and he hits it to a deep part of the yard. Even on a night when it's carrying, that thing was really touched off. That probably would have been a home run in San Diego. Well, I don't know. Depends on the weather out there.
New San Diego.
Yeah, the new San Diego, but it can be kind of cool and damp out there at nights.
Marty Cedeno floats it out towards second. That'll be a base hit. Just off the end of the bat. Guys are in a hurry.
Yeah, they're veteran pitchers, left-handers. Ball moves all over the place, and they're trying to get hitters out fast. Strikeouts are fine, but that's not the way these two guys pitch tonight, Stoltz and Lee.
Nick Hundley's 0 for 2. He's flied out twice.
They have their bullpen up with a pitcher on due to bat next. Nope, he's out of the game.
Yeah, they've got Nick Vincent warming up in the pen, a left-hander.
No matter what, he's out of the game. Well, we'll see.
Or I should say a right-hander.
That's what you really like to see Cliff Lee do. With these guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. Some of these right-handed hitters, throw them change-ups. Because they go up and swing fastball and cutter on him so much.
There's Vincent. Low, 2-2. 2-2. Logan Forsythe on deck.
I think both teams have a lot of players. Padres have
a lot of players.
Ton of. Their bullpen is packed. Their bench is packed.
And a called strike 3 on the inside corner. Hundley thought it was down, or he thought it was in. Tim Timmons thought it was right there. 8 strikeouts for Cliff Lee. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. As we stretch here at Citizens Bank Park, God Bless America will be performed by Philadelphia Police Department Officer Nate Fulton, who is here at Citizens Bank Park to honor those who lost their lives back on September 11th, 2001.
God bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountain through the prairie to the ocean wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Philadelphia Police Officer Nate Fulton.
Here's the question one more time. What Padre holds the single-season club record for pinch hits with 21 in 1977?
Is there a connection with the Phillies?
Well, I thought there was.
There isn't, huh?
Well, I thought there was a chance there was a connection, but I do not believe there is a connection.
All right, well, then I don't know, because I was going to guess Matt Stairs.
Matt Stairs is an excellent guess on your part, but Merv Retman has never played for the Philadelphia Phillies.
No, he sure hasn't. He was a hitting coach for the Padres, good player for the Padres, Orioles.
Now, the only real connection is that Wally Joyner took over for him as the hitting coach of the Padres at one point.
Yeah, it wasn't. Didn't Stairs have a good year for them as a pinch hitter?
Yeah, I believe he did. I don't remember exactly.
But not 21 hits.
Freddie Galvis leads it off against Nick Vincent, and he sends one the opposite way for a base hit off the half fence, and he's going to get 2 out of it. He's 3 for 3. He's a triple away from the cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to see what they're going to do. They're going to have to jump the bullpen up pretty quickly now, too, probably. Because depending on what Mayberry does here, then you're going to have Cliff Lee come up. There's Freddie, gets look like a sinker, and he just hits it right off the end of the bat with all that side spin, so it's going to head right for the wall. It does. Bounces off the seats down there in an easy double.
Vincent's numbers, it's been very good for them in 36 games this year. He is a Padre draft pick. So he's come through their system.
If Mayberry could knock this run in, they'll leave Lee in the game.
Here in the bottom of the 7th, tied at 2. Phillies now with 7 hits. Mayberry's 0 for 2. He's grounded out. He's flied to center. And he takes a slider for a strike. It's 0-1.
They've told him before he goes up there, and also Juan Samuel will tell him too, whether they want him to try and get him over or whether they're saying go swing the bat, do some damage here. So Mayberry knows right now in a situation like this what they want him to try to do. This guy's fastball, slider, changeup. Right-handed hitter is not hitting a whole lot off him.
Does your scouting report have the slider listed as a cutter or is it true slider?
It says slider.
Yeah. That's what I thought that first pitch was. 1 ball and 1 strike to Mayberry.
91 max on his velocity.
Outside. Yeah, that was a slider. I guess in this day and age, slider, cutter, it's basically the same.
Yeah, you know, it's hard to tell. I mean, spin will help you, the depth will help you when you're down close, but from up here, a lot of times it's really hard to tell.
Now the 2-1 pitch. Outside, 3-1. Well, if he can zone one here or even work out a walk, Lee is going to stay in the game to try to sacrifice them.
And the way he's approaching this at bat with all that stuff away, it's almost like they told him swing away, because if you're looking to move the runner over and you're having all those pitches away, you're going to try and hit one of them to the right side.
Big hole on the right side, too. That was ball 4.
Yeah, sure was. But just game situation right there. See the look on Ryan's face right there. That, you know, we want you on base there, and then I can bring my pitcher up, bunt him over, and keep him in the game, and you're chasing a ball up by your nose.
Up high, ball 4. So now with runners on first and second after that walk, Lee will come up.
Good job that time by John to recognize the high fastball out of his hand and just take it.
Coming up tonight on Sports Night, Michael Vick discusses how he can build on his impressive season opener. Flyers veteran defenseman Kimmo Timonen shares his thoughts about playing in the NHL beyond this season, plus a full recap and reactions from tonight's Phillies-Padres game. Bud Black is out to the mound.
Well, they'll talk about if he's not making a pitching change, which it appears he is not. They're going to talk about what bunt play they're going to do here. And for Lee, you want to make the third baseman come in and field this. They could rotate depending on whether how they feel about their pitcher. They could have him take that third base side. A lot of it depends on what kind of fielder he is. Some of them, they don't want any part of that with a pitcher. Others, yeah, we'll work on it. The idea right now is to get Headley away from third base.
Got good speed on the base paths. Galvis and Mayberry. They're not the fastest guys, but they're not the slowest either.
Yeah, Galvis is one of those guys who's a smart base runner, and he'll get a good lead out there. They rotate.
Boy, what a beautiful bunt.
Yep. Great bunt because they rotated, and if that ball's bunted hard at all, Headley has a free run down the line. He's going to wheel and throw to the shortstop who covered third, Cedeno. And that's what they talked about when they went out there. They put a trick play on, not trick play, but not a straight bunt play. Put the rotation play on. Here's a great bunt. He deadens it. Now you can't see Cedeno, but he broke immediately. See how quickly Headley's on that? Third baseman cannot do that unless he knows the guy's behind him, or they're just not worried about the runners moving over. And see right here, he knows he has a free run. They're not even worried about the pitcher. He takes a quick peek. No shot. Good base running by Freddie.
All right, now so the infield is in with runners at second and third for Cesar Hernandez. And Hernandez takes low. It's 1 ball and no strikes.
Was he happy to see that lefty out of there?
Big time. He struck out 3 times tonight.
He dazzled him with changeups all night. Really shallow in the outfield, too. Very shallow.
Fouls it back. It's 1-1.
They're gambling on a shallow fly ball right now that they're either going to hold the runner at third, Galvis, or throw him out. And if Hernandez can drive one at all, he's got a triple.
Toyota Major League Scoreboard. The Braves and the Marlins are in the bottom of the 6th. Jose Fernandez in his last start is hit a solo home run, and the Marlins lead the Braves 5-1.
Had his first major league hit off the Phillies this year. Good eye right there to get into a hitter's count. It's a good spot for a young player. Good experience right here. See if he can get the run in.
Galvis at third, Mayberry at second. But a 2-2 ball game here in the bottom of the 7th. Each team with 2 solo home runs. Here comes the 2-2 pitch to Hernandez. Ground ball softly hit. Here comes Galvis. No play at the plate. The Phillies take the lead. It's a 3-2 ball game.
Contact. That's what it looked like. And that's how you steal a run sometimes. If you're not going on contact, he can't score on that play. That's something the base runner knows, the hitter knows, everybody ahead of time. The guy at second. And watch a runner right here, Freddie Galvis. Mentioned he's not fast, but he's a good base runner. Good walking lead on contact. Little dribbler. Take a look at home. No chance. Steal a run with a contact play. Good job.
They just got him at first base, too. So now Mayberry's at third. Rollins is up. He homered his last time. Mentioned that's only the 2nd home run for Rollins since the end of May. They're going to walk him intentionally. It was also his first home run in 44 games in 181 plate appearances.
Yeah, and he crushed that thing to left center. It's a nice run by the Phillies here in this inning. You figure Mayberry chases 3-1, and then he does walk on 3-2. They can keep Lee in the game. He gets a bunt down, even with a rotation play, and then they go to contact and steal that run like that. That's one of those ones in the game late at home. You can win ball games like that if your bullpen holds up.
Well, there's ball 4, and now Franzen will come up. Oh, don't forget the Phillies and the Mets will wrap up the schedule here at Citizens Bank Park on Sunday, September 22nd. It's Fan Appreciation Day at Citizens Bank Park. All the traditional prizes and surprises for the final home game of the year. All fans receive a 2014 schedule magnet, compliments of Independence Blue Cross. Tickets can be purchased anytime at Phillies.com. Kevin Franzen is 1 for 3. He's hit the ball hard, though, a couple times tonight. And he fouls the first pitch away.
Talking about Freddie Galvis all the time, what a fundamentally good player he is, and that was really a good shot we had in a walking lead that he had off third base on a contact play. And that's one of the most important things a base runner can do on that play. Have that walking lead, and then when the ball is hit, gone. If you don't have the weight on the right foot, if you have it on the back foot, if you're headed back a little bit, weight was on the front foot, and he scored easily. Watch his move here. Watch. Boom, boom, boom. Weight on the front foot, gone. As soon as the ball was dribbled. And then he slides the back of the plate with no play. He also did a very good job advancing to third on the bunt on the rotation play, too. He got a good walking lead off second. Not a fast guy, but he plays smart.
Fly ball, right field. Near foul territory, blanks on the run, and he makes a basket catch. And he got that big body out of the way of that fence as he closed for the final out. It was a big inning for the Phils. It all began with Freddie Galvis, who doubled down the left field line, and then they put a little small ball to work. Cliff Lee with the bunt, and then on contact, Hernandez scores Galvis to give the Phils a 1-run lead and take us to the 8th. Provider of your Phillies. By Mazda, we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. And by the Pennsylvania Lottery, benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. We played 7 innings here at Citizens Bank Park as we go to the top of the 8th. Cliff Lee is out there to face Logan Forsythe, a pinch hitter. He's been good again tonight. 8 strikeouts for Lee, 186 on the season. Wheels, before we go any further, we have to wish happy birthday to the great Larry Shank, the Baron.
Happy birthday, Baron. Been around here a long time. He's basically retired now, but he's in charge of alumni affairs. Does a great job.
Every once in a while, you'll see some articles that Larry will write that will appear on Phillies.com.
He was around when Ryan Duran pitched. He saw him. He had some Ryan Duran stories. Everybody did that saw that guy pitch.
Here's the 0-1 pitch to Forsythe, and it's inside 1-1. Well, the Baron has meant an awful lot to a lot of people in this organization for the person that he is and for the work that he did and still does. We hope he had a great day.
He's a real pro.
He would have wanted that to be a strike.
Yeah. Well, Larry lived through 64, so he can live through anything. He's a publicity guy that year. It's all set for the World Series, and well, he'll be the first to tell you he wasn't all set. He had no clue what he was doing.
Diekman and Rosenberg.
Yeah, they're ready for the 8th inning if Cliff gets into trouble here, and Ryan Sandberg can mix and match that with his right-hander and left-hander, and then have Papelbon to close. You think that would be the game plan? Ideally, you'd like to see Lee get through the inning.
Now the 2-2 pitch. Popped him up. Franzen will give that a run. Well, this is certainly a quality start by Cliff Lee, and that's since 2011. Lee has 66 of the 291. Said sometimes, Wheels, people look at that statistic, quality starts, and it's over talked about.
Yeah.
But in Lee's case, and Halliday's case, and Hamill's case, it's not usually just 6 innings. It's usually deeper than that.
Right. And the thing about quality start, and that is a stat that, you know, a lot of people poo-poo, but nowadays guys don't pitch deep into games. And Tom's point that those guys do, but also if you're a good team and you have starters go 6 innings, good teams have great back ends of their bullpen. So you've gotten them to the point where you can use those guys.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why a quality start can mean something with a good team. If it's a bad team, you know, it's not that big a deal.
Here's Denorfia with 1 out. Outside, 1-0 to Denorfia. He's 0 for 3. He's lined out. He's grounded out, and he struck out his last time.
Pinching up at the corners, guarding the line at third on the pull side.
Could be just speed that's dictating that.
He bunted for a hit 3 times this year. Doesn't have one, so it's not like a guy who's going to bunt a lot.
Liner to center field. Hernandez is there.
That's a tough play. He's laughing about it, but that's the toughest play for a veteran center fielder, let alone a guy just learning to play, because that baby looked like it was knuckling on him.
2 outs. Chase Headley's coming up, and here's Murph with a brand new Major League notebook.
Well, that's right, Tom. We'll talk about that in just a minute, but I will tell you that Derek Jeter's season of injury is now over. The Yankees announcing today that the future Hall of Famer has been shut down, back on the DL for the 4th time this year, a year that he has called a nightmare for him. He's trying to get ready for next spring training. The Yanks, of course, 2 games back in the wild card race in the American League. And remember Vladimir Ballantyne? We told you a little bit about him about 2 weeks ago. He's trying to tie the Japanese Major League single-season home run record. Well, he did that last night. He hit his 55th home run of the season. He still has 21 games to play. He needs 1 home run to break that record. He sits at 55, just 1 more to go. And Tom, you talked about a brand new notebook. Well, yeah, congratulations to Gwynedd Mercy College, who has become Gwynedd Mercy University. They've been the sponsor of the notebook over the last 2 years. They became a university today, so we say Gwynedd Mercy University from now on. And congratulations to those guys.
Murphy, you're going to have to get a new sweatshirt.
I might have to. A new varsity jacket, I guess.
Yeah. All right, keep up with the ante. Oh, yeah, congratulations. There's so many great universities and colleges in the Philadelphia area, and of course Gwynedd Mercy is one of them. 2 balls and 1 strike. I was asking, I was telling Murph today, I was talking to Juan Samuel about the kid who's, well, not even a kid, but the guy who tied the record for the home runs in Japan. And Sammy said that they faced him in the World Baseball Classic when he played for Curacao.
Yep.
He said, we told our pitchers, don't throw him any fastballs.
It's a good plan. He may not see many fastballs over the last 21 games in his season as well. You know, that record in Japan is kind of a cherished record.
Sure is.
And, you know, there are some folks that don't want to see it broken, much like the record here many years ago. But, you know, it's interesting. He missed the first 12 games of the season, did Vladimir Ballantyne of the Japanese League, because he was injured in the World Baseball Classic. He strained a hamstring in that. So he missed 12 games at the beginning of the season, but still has 21 games left to get 1 more home run. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Tied with Tuffy Rhodes and Sadaharu.
The great Sadaharu, yeah. The great baseball player in Japan. There's Rhino came out there to just have a little conversation with Cliff Lee. I thought maybe he's going to bring Rosenberg in, but when he trotted out, that's the first time we've seen him do that. That's normally a manager's sign that the guy's going to stay in.
Well, they're going to keep the outfielders back all the way. And now Jed Jerko, who homered his last time up, he's 1 for 2. He walked his first time.
A lot of confidence in Lee at 104 pitches to a guy who's going to be looking to give him the lead here. Maybe they told him to throw some soft stuff.
No, he does. Every time the Phillies retire the opposition 1-2-3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports, giving you all your favorite sports all year long.
Kind of figure what that was about, because this guy's going to look for fastball, especially early, and that's where Cliff gets hurt by these right-handed hitters on fastballs, cutters up. Here's the home run in the 6th inning, and it was one of those fastballs up and out over the plate. So he's gone back-to-back changeups with him here, and kind of give Jerko credit. He's taken them both.
Low, ball 3.
You don't want that baseball. That baseball went 3-0.
Yeah.
He made sure there's no chance the umpire could put that back in the ball bag. He fired in the Phillies dugout.
Rosenberg going over the matchups with Rod Nichols, the Phillies bullpen coach.
They got Guzman on deck, who's right-handed. They got a lot of left-handed hitters on that bench, including Venable.
It's over for a strike, 3-1.
Know what he threw there, huh? 3-0 changeup, and he got it over. Well, that conversation was, we're just not going to give him a fastball to hit if we can avoid it.
Cutter, 3-2.
And it was down. We're going to hold him on at first. Because he's a tying run. You don't want to double the score. You avoid it.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Lee's got his signs. Runner goes, the 3-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. Back-to-back cutters. Again, it was down. And Cliff Lee, with 111 pitches, he threw a money pitch with the last one to pick up his 9th strikeout of the night. What a job by Cliff Lee. He's been flat-out dominant as this season's gone on. He threw that pitch in the absolute perfect spot. Phillies maintain a 1-run lead as we go to the bottom of the 8th here in South Philly. With a bullpen, Cliff Lee did his job through 8 innings, 111 pitches, 9 strikeouts. Time now for a Coors Light Freeze Cam. And on this Patriot Day, where we honor those who lost their lives on September 11, 2001, and the 12-year anniversary, some of the sights from today's ceremonies prior to the ball game. Also our national anthem, which was a beautiful rendition that was sung by senior airman Eric Anderson. And some of the folks who came to the ballpark today after a long day of remembrance. Our Coors Light Freeze Can brought to you by Crossbrew Coors Lights. And they saw a heck of a ball game too, at least up to this point. Lee, 9 strikeouts, 5 hits, 8 innings. And now Carlos Ruiz will face Brad Boxberger. And he fouls the first pitch away. It's 0-1.
It was really interesting to see Ryan Sandberg go out there. It's the first time he's done that. And you look at Boxberger's numbers there in 12 games where he's gone out there and not a pitching change. You just talk to him. And obviously he and Rich Doobie had chatted before he went out there. And it was like, let's go a little bit soft on this guy right now and stop throwing these high fastballs hard at him and challenge him, see if we can get him out. And it was a really great battle they had.
1-2 to Ruiz. Papelbon starts the throw in the pen. Carlos shoots it the other way, a base hit. That was a hanging slider. It looked like anyway. Ward says changeup. It looked like it was cutting a little bit. Either way, it's a base hit. Oh yeah, it's a changeup.
Just kind of came spinning up there and dropped right down in the middle of the strike zone.
Officially, Lee's at 110 pitches. Just 2 3-ball counts tonight.
This guy's times the plate are really slow, but you don't have a base stealer there.
Element of surprise?
I don't think so. Now when you really want to get that an insurance run. And you had a power hitter up there. Here he goes. Boy, that ball rough in last time was really impressive. He'd had backspin. That would have been long. Had top spin and it would have hit the base of the wall out there on the fly.
Yeah, that would have went out toward HK's statue the way it was going.
That thing was tattooed. There you go with the old 2-2 changeup to get you to 3-2. Now, there's Ashley on deck. Will he throw a 3-2 changeup or will he give in with fastball here? And that's what the hitter thinks he's going to get. There's a fastball.
Ball 4 and they're 2 on.
He got it, but when they were near the zone, good at bat.
Attention physical education teachers and after-school program leaders. It's time for Phillies Fitness. Get fit and learn about nutrition and fun exercises that help you on the path to a healthy future. The program provides free tip booklet, posters, and a chance to receive a Phillies Fitness workout session. Phillies Fitness is presented by NovaCare Rehabilitation. For more information, email fandev@phillies.com.
Bud Black yelling out there. They've already put on what their bunt play is. See, Bud Black putting the thing out there like, yeah, I'll watch for the bunt, but they know that it's a possibility. Last time they put the rotation play on.
Well, Ashley handles the bat well, you know that.
Well, see, this is one of those situations as a manager, you decide, do I want to give this guy, I have the lead right now, do I want to give this guy up for the guys that are following? Who has a better chance to do some damage here? In this case, they're telling you, Brian Sandberg's telling you, I want Ashley swinging the bat here off this right-hander.
Ground ball back toward the middle. Cedeno has it, steps on the bag for one, and that's all they'll get. So Ruiz gets to third. They get the middle runner on the force side.
Not really a double play ball, but Ruff made sure. That was a good job by him to get after Cedeno. He'll get some congratulations in the dugout because they saw that he got him up in the air. Cedeno needed to get to that bag away from him on the outside part a little bit, get in the air and throw that thing. And he didn't really approach that really well. I don't know whether he caught it right away. He had a lot of spin on it. But he kind of was tentative going to the bag, and that cost him a chance for two.
Well, Freddie Galvis just a triple away from the cycle. He'll take a base hit, though, here, or even a fly ball that could score Ruiz from third. It's got to be a deep fly ball. We got Northview with 9 assists, Blanks with 2.
It's spinning a lot. Yeah, see, he didn't feel that real cleanly. And look what he did. He stepped right in the middle of the bag.
How about this? A little safety squeeze, and Galvis is out at first, but an extra run scores. That's a beautiful bunt by Freddie Galvis.
Well, they're playing some really good fundamental baseball in the last 2 innings. And that guy's right in the middle of stuff like that. You see Bud Black on it. That's a good play by the Phillies.
4-2 to score.
He go right here. He's just bunting to try and get that runner in from third. It's not a suicide squeeze. Now, whether or not they put that on or not, or he did that on his own, we'll find out later.
Carlos is going pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, once he saw it bunted to that side, that's when he goes. He has to read that. As a base runner, you got to read that where it is and that you can go. If that ball's bunted towards a pitcher, you don't go because it's not a suicide squeeze.
Ashley's at second. Bernardino's out in the on-deck circle to pinch hit. And Hundley's out to the mound to talk to Boxberger.
Good chance to win this one. She had that 3-run lead in the 9th in San Diego. He's going to have at least a 2 with the bullpen coming on. Give Darren Ruff some credit too for that run in this inning. A lot of little things the last 2 innings that he made sure there's no double play on that ball by Ashley. Gets the runner to third with less than 2 outs, and they get him home.
That's a little frustrating for Mayberry. And a called strike 3. Side is retired here in the 8th inning, but the Phillies do score an extra run, a little insurance run here at the bottom of the 8th. On to the 9th we go. Jonathan Papelbon trying to come in and close the door.
game. Kevin Franson hits this ball right on the nose. Great play out there by Guzman. And he will be awarded our Hyundai Defensive Play of the Game, and that is brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers. And now they're going to pinch hit for him.
Yep, his night is done, so you make a nice defensive play, you get pinch hit for. Roger Bernardino is going to come in to play right field for the Phillies. Moving from right field to left field is Mayberry. Moving to first base is Darren Ruff. He's on for Kevin Franzen. And Jonathan Papelbon is the new pitcher for the Phils. Papelbon 5-1 this year, 25 saves. He's blown 7. He has a 2-run lead to work with, though. Last time he had a 2-run lead to work with, Andrelton Simmons hit a 2-run home run to tie it, and the Phillies won it in their half of the ninth. And he will face Will Venable to start this inning.
Seems like a lot of the saves that Papelbon's blown this year with 2 outs. I don't know how many, but it just seems like a lot with 2 outs.
There is Scott Bradley, who is the head baseball coach at Princeton University. His son Scotty next to him. Scott is here, getting a chance to see Will, who played for him at Princeton. Will also played basketball at Princeton. Scott was here last week when David Hale came up to be part of the Braves. Never pitched in that ball game.
It's pretty cool when your players get to the major leagues. And Venables had a heck of a year too.
Scott was telling the story today about how he got Venable to come out and take some swings because he was an all-Ivy basketball player whose dad played in the big leagues. Shows bunt again. It's 1-1. By the way, some house cleaning. Bernardino will bat third. That's Franzen's spot in the order. So Papelbon is the number 9 hitter. And now the 1-1 pitch to Venable. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
Yeah, that's one of those things where fans say, when you make double switches, when don't you? Well, the idea is that even though Papelbon would lead off, if you went to the bottom of the ninth, you're going to hit for him. So you put Bernardino in that spot in the 3-hole, and then you have your pinch hitter hit for Papelbon, and hope none of that happens.
Got him. 91 on that fastball. Little extra movement at the end. 1 away. Well, Scott was just happy to see him today.
Right.
He surprised him.
Yeah, he's done a really good job hitting for power this year in that ballpark, and he swings through a fastball.
There's Kyle Blanks, who's 0 for 3. He's grounded out twice and struck out. Doc will be on the mound tomorrow. Tyson Ross on the mound for the Padres. 7:05 first pitch.
He's a real live arm young pitcher from what we understand, Tyson Ross.
We saw him earlier this year. Out towards center. That ball's pretty well hit. Hernandez on the run. He has room and he backpedals and makes the catch. He may have slowed down a little early on that, but he still was able to put it away.
I'll tell you what he does really well, though, is he reads the ball off the bat and he stays to the right side. He doesn't get himself turning around out there.
Pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Considering he's an infielder.
Right. That's the whole thing on a fly ball like that in a center fielder. Now watch how he reads this right off the bat. It's deep. Look, he takes it to that side. He does not get turned around. Now he starts to backpedal a little bit. You can tell he really doesn't want to run to a spot a whole lot right now, which is also kind of understandable. So he was watching that thing, and that's why you're a little bit slower when you go into your back pedal.
Some folks may have stumbled and fallen backpedaling like that.
Absolutely.
Here's Medica. He homered earlier for his first major league hit, and he takes strike 1. But Papelbon's location is excellent in this inning. Not a one-run game, but it is a tightly contested ball game. There have been a lot of these lately. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Papelbon set and the pitch. Breaking ball, swung on and missed. It's a 1-2-3. Top of the 9th inning, and Jonathan Papelbon records the save. That helps Cliff Lee to the victory as the Phillies knock off the Padres 4-2. Home runs from those 2 guys, Rollins and Galvis. Galvis also helped the Phils add an extra run with a little small ball. In fact, he was just a triple away from the cycle here tonight. This is a good ball game. Cliff Lee was outstanding again. He is finishing strong. And the Phillies get the victory as this homestand, which has actually been